Hey everybody, welcome to our first ever episode of Fly Together, brought to you by Most 529. I'm Andrew Buckbinder. I'm here on my back porch, and want to say a big thank you to everybody joining us here as we kick off this brand new weekly web series. Obviously, we wish we could be hanging out with everybody at Hammons Field right now, but while we wait for baseball to return, we thought we'd start up this weekly show and use it as a way to interact with our fans on a weekly basis and just have some fun. So we're going to be checking in with Dan Reiter, our Vice President and General Manager, on a repeating basis. We also have some player content lined up. We're going to have an interactive fan segment that we'll be asking for your help on as we go. And we're also going to use this show as an opportunity to check in with our community and our corporate partners and see all that they've got going on as well. So to dive right into our first ever episode of Fly Together, brought to you by Most 529, we welcome in Dan Reiter. Well, we welcome in Dan Reiter, Vice President and General Manager here of the Springfield Cardinals. And Dan, thanks for joining the show here, the first ever episode. You are our first ever guest, so congratulations. I know that's a bucket list item.
I mean, I couldn't say no to it. I mean, whenever you kind of pitched it that way, it was like, yeah, of course I'm in. I mean, to be the first ever sounds great.
Well, first and foremost, how are you? I mean, we know that, you've been busy, you've been active around the community, but how are you doing now that we're, 6-7 weeks into this all?
I'm doing great. I'm generally a pretty optimistic person. I've realized that trait is suiting me very well. I've got two young kids that are 1 and 4, and right now, Andrew, we'd be in the middle of baseball. I'd be missing bedtimes and kind of missing some of the stuff going on with my kids. But instead, I'm trying to count this as a blessing by getting to be around family a little bit more. And I think that alone is, been kind of a glimmer of light for me in an otherwise dim situation. So, great.
I was thinking about you guys actually over the weekend because we talked real briefly, and I was sitting there. I was just getting ready to go out on the back porch and read a book, and I had really nothing going on. I think I'd mowed the grass earlier in the day. And I was thinking just how different my quarantine must be from yours with two kids, under the age of 5. How are Andy and Tyson holding up with all this?
Well, first of all, they don't stop. So you're right. Like, so it kind of takes away, I think, some of the time to think about it that others have, because our kids don't stop because they're 1 and 4, but they're active versions of 1 and 4. So they like to go. And our 4-year-old is so social. And I mean, we were in the quarantine for about maybe a week, and someone drove by and kind of stopped and was talking to us. They were in the street and we were in our yard. And our 4-year-old's like, "Dad, I want to go put on shoes. I want to talk to humans." And, I think that just kind of describes him as, he's wanted to, "Dad, I want to go to stores. Dad, I want to go to the park." He's such an active person, but, we found ways. We've been building Legos together and doing artwork and just, playing in the yard as much as we can. So they're doing good. And, I think too, we didn't ever transition into baseball mode. So, he has actually asked about coming to the stadium because he misses baseball too. Just like I think all of us do, and I think that's a part where made me feel like I'm raising him right, that he wants to be at the stadium, raising him right.
Well, speaking of baseball and the stadium, I know probably the question foremost in everybody's mind is what's going on? Do we have any updates and any news on that front?
Yeah, I think the funniest part about that is, you're right. Everyone asks it. And I think they look to us, and I think our staff's all asking the same thing. Like, yeah, we want an update too. All we can do is prepare. And I think that, do we have an official update? No. Is there an unofficial update? No, there's not. I think all of us we're paying attention to what's going to happen with Major League Baseball. And once they have a plan for Major League Baseball, the next step is going to be talking about the plan for minor league baseball. So it comes into, what are we doing? And what we're doing is we are still, working on designs for giveaways. I've actually got samples in front of me right now where I'm measuring logos and looking at layouts. But we're still planning to play. And we don't know what's going to happen, but we know if this ballpark opens up, we are going to be 100% ready and excited to welcome people back. We've been trying to communicate with our members, with our partners. And that communication has actually been great, because you can tell they miss us as much as we miss them. And when that day comes when we get to throw our first pitch, it's going to be a very happy time at Hammons Field. And, to be honest, sometimes I can be a little bit of a crier, an emotional guy. And I bet you when that first pitch is thrown, I'll even have a little tear start coming down.
Well, how's the grass doing? You're at the ballpark now, right? I mean, how's the grass looking out there?
It's beautiful. I mean, it's something too that it's the longest that the field, in the last, you think about it, it'll be 16th season for the Springfield Cardinals. There's one more, so with MSU. So the grass, all this time you're painting lines, you're painting logos. Well, we haven't done that. So the grass is just coming in as lush and thick as you can. It's absolutely beautiful. I mean, it was so nice. I actually asked our groundskeepers, like, guys, should we never paint a logo again? Because it's beautiful down there. But I think there's something when you're at a game to see that Cardinals logo behind home plate just kind of makes you feel good. So we'll probably keep painting it. But, man, I will tell you, the grass right now is beautiful, beautiful.
Well, we as we've sort of all splintered away and we're doing work from home. I know you've been really active in keeping everybody on staff going creatively and engaged, and that sort of has given rise to this Fly Together theme. Do you want to kind of talk about that a little bit? And this show is named Fly Together, and it sort of fits into a larger quarantine theme that we've had going on.
Whenever everything first hit, when this first started, and if you think back when we're in March, no one understood it. And when spring training stopped, people were thinking spring training was going to stop, and then in a week we were going to start up the big league season. I don't think any of us really understood the scope of where this was going. But we made a decision as a company that early on we wanted to be positive. We wanted to be a community cheerleader, as opposed to focusing on things that you miss. Let's focus on things that we appreciate. And I think that's been something that it's been really neat to see our entire company get behind, to see, for a while we had a joke of the day and the question of the day floating around with our staff. And it was fun. It was a way for all of us to interact, because we hope that's what people think of the Cardinals, is that we're a fun place. We're an outlet. We're kind of an escape from reality that makes you laugh and smile and be happy. And was our staff talked about what that meant, it really made us think that we're all in this together. And that's not just the front office, it's the entire community. And, that's what Cardinals do, is they fly, and let's all fly together. And I think as we kind of came to that tagline of Fly Together, it's like, well, what are we going to do with it? It's like we can keep being positive, and I think one of the first things we did is we launched that free kids club. And, we've never had a free kids club, and it's been amazing to see the signups. In the first 4 hours, we had hundreds of people sign up. I think right now we're already at 1,400 members in under a month, which is great. So the kids club was something that was positive. It was exciting. You can go on and download some coloring sheets and some other activities for kids. So we're excited to launch a free kids club. But then we also knew we wanted to give back to the community, not just try to have fun, but to give back. And that's where we kind of came up with the idea with the blood drive, to partner with the Community Blood Center of the Ozarks and Great Southern Bank to present a blood drive. And, we were honored to be a part of it because we love this community and want to do what we can. I think, what are the final stats? I know you've seen them. What were the final stats on the number of lives that could have been saved because of that blood drive?
I think it was up over 1,000. I think it was 1,087 lives saved in the 5 days of donation.
Yeah. And, to me, that's, again, it goes into one person obviously can't give that much blood, not safely, ever, maybe. But it's something that our community can do it together. And I think Community Blood Center of the Ozarks was so impressed. Like, the first day, all spots were filled. The second day, all spots were filled. And I think they were monitoring it and just absolutely amazed to see Cardinals fans, flying together. And I think that program, the blood drive presented by Great Southern Bank, the Step Up to the Plate blood drive, it was awesome. And we had over 20 partners that wanted to participate in giving items to the gift bag. I think that just tells you a lot about this region, this community, is that we are all in it together and people are acting that way. And kind of the last piece, the Fly Together, is we did launch the T-shirt program, where people could order a special Fly Together T-shirt. They got a ticket voucher for a future game. They got the T-shirt with the special Fly Together logo. And then on top of it, we took money, all the net proceeds from that program, all of the net proceeds was going to purchase food for frontline workers. And it was a way that we could help local restaurants by purchasing food from them, but also a way to kind of recognize people. And I'll tell you, the first couple places we've been to say thank you and to recognize them, they've been so appreciative. And, Louie can't give high fives right now, our mascot, but I'll tell you, Louie gives wings to people and gives them a nice little elbow bump. But you give them an elbow bump and a Cardinals hat and some free food, and you can just tell it lifts their spirit. But again, what's the best part of that program is that it's based on the aggregate of everyone doing it together. And, I think that tagline of Fly Together is one that, to us, it's not just something we're going to use right now. I think we could end up using that one for a while, because that's how our fans are. We have unbelievable fans. We have amazing fans and an amazing community. And I think this has really shown you the highlights of the good that can happen when people fly together.
Now, I noticed on those drop-offs, obviously you've been helping out and wearing a mask, doing your part. You've got a Cardinals-themed mask. Is that homemade? Do you have any inside tips on where you can get one of those?
My sister-in-law gave that to me. So she works at a boutique in Nixa, and Luck Boutique in Nixa, and she got it from them. And she was really excited to give that to me. And I was like, well, perfect, because I've taken it serious. It's my dad is 70 and diabetic, and that's a double whammy. And so I want to do everything I can to help protect people like my dad. And I think that means taking it serious. Just getting the Cardinals mask was a nice little perk on top of it.
Yeah, definitely. And I think the thing is, the more serious everybody takes it too, the quicker we can hopefully get back to baseball and get back to normal.
Well, and it comes back again, fly together. It's sometimes we can all make an individual decision, but I think if we can all just fly together, we'll get through this thing quicker and safer, and we'll all feel a lot better about it. Because honestly, the quicker we get through it, the quicker we can play baseball at Hammons Field. And by golly, I know a lot of people are wanting that to happen.
The red suit's going to be out there, right? Even, if opening day is a little bit later than we were hoping, red suit's going to be out for game one?
Well, opening day is opening day. I mean, the only difference might be the number of sweat stains if we start up. So, that would be the big difference. And again, just like every other opening day, I'll put it on and my wife will shake her head at me like, why? I'm like, it's fun. That's what minor league baseball is. We are fun. Have a little fun at the ballpark. And I think if I can't have fun, then I think there's a problem with that for our staff morale too. I think that regardless of what your job title is or what you do here, we should all be able to have fun. We should all fly together and have fun.
Well, on that note, we'll let you go, Dan. We appreciate the time. Thanks for helping us have fun, and we'll talk to you again next week.
Hey, Andrew, I can't wait till I see you in person, but until then, you be safe too, buddy.
Thanks.
Are you the proud parent of the T-ball team's star shortstop? While we can't get them drafted and make it into the big leagues, a Missouri Most 529 education plan can help you save for their future. A Most 529 is a tax-deferred investment account you can use to pay for school costs, and it's never too early or too late to open one. Whether they're 3 or 13, every dollar you save now is one less you'll have to come up with later. And just like your child, it's an investment that will continue to grow. Learn more at MissouriMost.com/529facts.
Hey everyone, I'm Regina, the Senior Marketing and Event Coordinator with the Springfield Cardinals. Welcome to our We Love Our Fans segment of the Fly Together show, where we give you, our fans, the opportunity to be a part of it. We would love to see your guys' pictures and videos of your time at the ballpark. Since this is our first episode, we asked our front office staff to share their memories and take a look behind the scenes of what happens at Hammons Field. So, without further ado, here are some pictures that our front office staff sent from this week. All right, so first off, we have Aaron's favorite shots of the ballpark and his daughter with Fetch. Next here are photos of Angela's family at the ballpark, including her son, who has worked with the Cardinals since he was 14, and her daughter back in season 2, who also works for us and is now a college graduate. These were sent over by Brad. This is one of our great partners, our fearless leader promoting another great partner, and some very smart fans in a suite with the kids outside and the adults inside. Next, we have some of Brock's behind-the-scene photos of our beautiful field and his crew. This shows a great representation of Dan's life at the ballpark. Here's some of the amazing guests we've had and his family. This is also a great perspective from Kent's world. Here are a few shots of our amazing production crew, the install of the new video board in 2016, and some fun that they have at the ballpark. This one is very special to me, as it shows a great shot of Ozzie Smith at dinner on the Diamond. I also submitted a photo of our front office staff on Halloween a couple of years ago. Next we have Ross's photos of his son at the ballpark meeting Louie and headed for some ice cream. Eric sent over a fun shot from the downtown Christmas parade in 2018. And lastly, one of Matt's own amazing photos that he takes of the team. He also shared the staff Halloween photo from 2018. Thank you to our front office staff for sending over their photos. Now we want to see your favorite memories. Next week's theme is going to be Show Us Your Cardinals Gear. Whether you're out in the community or you're at our ballpark, we can't wait to see what you send over. You can send your pictures and videos to springfield@cardinals.com and make sure to put Cardinals Gear in the subject line. Check us out next week to see if your favorite memories end up on the show, and I'll see you all next time on the We Love Our Fans segment.
Check out SpringfieldCardinals.com for the latest news and info. Whether it's tickets, player info, highlights, team news, or upcoming events and promotions, SpringfieldCardinals.com is the place for Springfield Cardinals baseball. Get ticket info including Red Access membership, single game tickets, group tickets, and mini packs, with resources for everything you need. You'll also find team info including rosters, stats, and league standings, as well as team media. And there's so much more, like community opportunities, the new Cardinals Kids Club, and concessions. You want an even closer look? Don't forget to follow us on social media and stay current with everything happening with the Springfield Cardinals.
Well, there's no question that normally, at least, this time of year, if I'm not at the ballpark, I am back there mowing that green stuff, which is why I'm so excited for our next segment called Grounds Crew Yard Tips, brought to you by Ryan Lawn and Tree, featuring our award-winning groundskeepers Brock Phipps and Derek Edwards. Our PR and digital media specialist, Matt Turr, has this one.
And now it's time for a new segment. It's Cardinals Yard Tips, presented by Ryan Lawn and Tree. So I'm Matt Turr. I'm the Cardinals PR and digital media specialist. And in a way, I'm both the worst and perfect host for this because I might know the least in the office about doing stuff in the yard. But I'm with the people that will know the most about that. And for the first show, at least, we're here with Brock Phipps. And just saying Brock's name, people watching, Cardinals fans probably know who he is, but some people might be newcomers and might not. So Brock, how about you introduce yourself real quick and then we'll dive in.
You bet. My name is Brock Phipps. I am the Director of Field Operations for the Springfield Cardinals. I've been at Hammons Field since 2003, actually there while the field was being built. So I kind of know where every speck of sand is and where all the irrigation lines are. So yeah, been there ever since and still going.
All right, so every week we're going to do a set of 3 questions, unless we get totally random and maybe we'll go out in the actual yard a couple times here. But first, I wanted to think of things that were questions about how to take care of your grass, your backyard, your front yard during quarantine when we're spending so much time at home and having the opportunity to do this. And if you're like me, learn more about doing this. So the first one is mowing. And I know it seems so simple. I mean, to me at least, and to other people, you just go out, you buy a lawnmower, or if you're someone who hires some yard service, you pick a day of the week and they come and they mow your grass. But is there a right way to mow your lawn and an incorrect way to mow your lawn? And how do you know when to time that out during the week or the month?
Well, really, that's been quite the challenge here this spring with all the wet weather we've had, all the rain. Seems like it rains every other day. Get a day of sunshine and it rains. So yeah, that's been a big challenge of this spring. You got to kind of time it out more or less with the weather. I would say that try to mow your grass when it's dry. It's just a lot healthier for the turf itself. If you do leave some clumps of grass laying on your turf, take a rake or something, or just kick them out. Kick the pile of clippings, kind of disperse them a little bit. That kind of helps when the sun does come out. It's not going to damage that plant. One of my biggest pet peeves is keep your blades sharp. We sharpen our blades at the stadium probably every 2 weeks, and what that does is keep your plant a lot healthier. If you get done mowing and it looks like you have like a white, almost tips on your grass, that means your blades aren't sharp. What you can do is just bend down, take a blade of grass off the plant itself, and just make sure it's got a nice clean cut. And what I would recommend is buying 2 sets of blades. You need to switch one out, take it someplace to get it sharpened. That way you still have another one get you through. And try to, change your blades, I'd say, for a homeowner, 2 or 3 times throughout the summer.
So what's a backyard or lawn tool that I probably don't have that I should have? Think about it if I'm someone new to gardening, so there's stuff that I probably definitely have, but what's one that I would have never thought of buying at this point?
That is a great question. And, as I thought about that, I think, a good moisture meter would be very handy to have, especially if you're trying to grow flowers or plants in pots compared to, outside in your landscape area. Depending on the type of soil that you're using, some plants and flowers have different requirements as far as moisture goes. So really, a good moisture meter will tell you, when to water, or if you're overwatering, which can do just as much damage. We actually have soil sensors and moisture meters in the field. We kind of go off them with the moisture levels as far as when to water the field. That way we're conserving water. We're not, just watering just for the heck of it, but we're actually watering when the field actually needs it. At Hammond's Field, our playing surface is all sand, so it does take a little more water that way. But really, the soil and a moisture meter is pretty inexpensive. I'd say, for a homeowner, it's probably $10, $15, something like that. So good tool to have.
Yeah, it's not bad at all. And then the last one is, you talk about moisture. How do you come up with a strategy for taking care of your lawn and your yard right now in the spring when it is so rainy versus in the summer when it starts to dry out?
Sure. In the spring, we're probably mowing more frequently. The grass is really jumping up and growing quite a bit. Of course, at Hammond's Field, we mow every game day, so that's kind of a difference than, when someone's mowing in their backyard or whatever. But, one of the things is just try to mow as much as possible, because you don't want to take off a bunch of grass all at once, because that can do some damage. Follow the 1/3 rule as far as cutting grass. And another thing is, when it gets hot, try to raise your mowing deck up. Actually, the taller the grass, the deeper the roots will go, and search for the water when it gets hot and dry. So it will make your plant more healthier.
So it's actually good to let it grow to a height that might seem too high, because then it increases the root depth and lets it, stay healthier and find more water.
Exactly. I mean, if you're got a lawnmower, I'd recommend raising it as high as you can during the summer. That will probably cut down on the amount of time that you have to mow.
All right. Well, that's our first edition of Yard Tips presented by Ryan Lawn and Tree. Brock, thank you. Everyone watching, thank you. We may have been a little choppy this first time, but you know what? It's quarantine. We're at home. It's going to happen. That's life. So thanks for watching, and we'll cut back to Andrew now.
All right, that's going to wrap up this week's edition of Fly Together, brought to you by Most 529. Since we know we're all going through some ballpark withdrawals, we're going to close out each edition each week with a little segment called Something to Look Forward to. For our production team, Matt Turr, Kent Shelton, TJ Patton, Regina Norris, I'm Andrew Buckbinder. Thanks again for tuning in and joining us. Stay healthy, and we'll see everybody next week.
2-0 from Scrub. Swing and a grounder off the line. Triumph beer. It comes down the right field line. Oscanio scores. Dylan goes and wins his game for the Cardinals. 6-5 walk-off number 9 for this Cardinals team.